paid at the Magic Online PTQ last weekend. It's a Drakehaven / Approach hybrid. It's kind of interesting. Let's start with the things that I'm not so sure about in the deck. I think having 2 Abandoned Sarcophaguses is just too much. You rarely ever want to draw a second. Between all the Grixis decks, the red decks, and like the monsters decks, there's enough of Braids where you like don't even want a single one. Also, a lot of the fun decks have things like Brontodons and stuff, which obviously are very good versus this deck regardless, because they can hit your Drakehaven or your Search for Azcanta. But like, if you're really setting up a game plan around their Abandoned Sarcophagus, like, they can just be crippling. The other thing that I really don't like is like there's only one Field of Ruin, which I think Field of Rune's pretty important to beat the other decks that are also playing Search for Azcanta. Also don't like the Desert of the Mindful or the Desert of the True. And I don't like not having access to like a Shefet Dunes. But overall it's something that I want to give a try to, but I'm not expecting a lot from. Yep. I guess we'll just jump straight into the matches. Like, these are just random comments that I'm making on the deck without playing a single game, and can be very, very, very stupid comments. But, like, I've found any deck that has, like, this high mana, like, after you get past, like, turn 4 and 5 and 6, once you have, like, a Drakehaven out, or like when you're trying to go for your 7th mana for an approach and stuff like that, these extra come into play tap lands can just be very brutal. You accept these because they have the word cycling on them, but like these single colored ones are just so incredibly worse. I would rather just have basic, or just come into play tapped Island, or Plains, or like Dunes and Rivulet in these spots. It also makes cards like a 40 of the Council's worse out of the sideboard. Just playing off curbs, so annoying. But we're going to give it a try. Also, like, there's no baffling ends or anything in the sideboard, so like you're pretty code to like very aggressive decks. We also only have 3 settles, which I've found 4 settles fairly important in a deck that can like leave up cyclers, settles, or Drakehavens and cast outs. Like, giving them so many things to play around, and like it can be really punishing, because when you have that many options of things you can play, your opponents often are just like, I gotta attack with them all, or not. Anyway, we're gonna keep this hand. We have a Search for Azcanta. Venom's pretty known for generally playing aggressive strategies, and this deck's going to be bad versus aggressive strategies in general. It's going to be especially bad versus them in pre-sideboarded games. I don't know that he's on aggressive strategy, but even knowing that like he may be, like, I still just don't think you mulligan this hand. I think it's just, I don't want to say good because like the hand's not good, but like I don't think that you can get that many hands that are very good. We already have 5 mana. I think we're just going to go ahead and play the farmlands. Probably going to be untapping and playing the Search for Azcanta as well. There's no... I mean, probably not leaving a Censor up, even if we draw it, and then there's no Essence Scatters or anything. Do have to play this deck a little bit faster. I've had a lot of problem with almost timing out with Search for Azcanta, or sorry, Drakehaven decks in the past. I've also had an issue where, like, I've been low on time and not been able to think through tight decisions. Alright, well, that is very bad for us. Now he gets to guaranteed flip to Legion. And that's one of his better win conditions versus us. Search for Azcanta is probably going to be too slow. Or sorry, Approach is probably going to be too slow. Don't want to cycle this cast out until we know whether he has the Radiant or not. But like he's... Yeah, this is the PTQ list. Already don't know how I feel about it, but we'll have to see. Just see what he leads with here and everything. A pretty good chance I'm going to cycle to Illumination. I'm definitely going to cycle the cast out. Alright, well there's the card that we've kind of wanted to keep us somewhat afloat. That's a good follow-up, because we'll probably be casting Settle this turn, and the turn afterwards he's probably going to untap and do something like Call plus Queen or whatever, or maybe he's just going to play like Champion or something. I don't know, but long story short, we're going to cast Settle here. I just don't want to take any more damage, because when you get a low enough life total, they can just slam a Radiance Destiny or use these Sheffet Dunes and like try to pick away at you with like 1 or 2 attackers a turn, and we don't want that to be in the cards. We just want to stay above that if possible. Kind of sucks because like I said, he can just play Call here, and then like next turn potentially attack us for 6 with it. We probably have to take that full 6 if he does. Nope, we'll keep that. It does put a blocker on the table. How you doing today, Murph? And even if this cast out only blocks, like we're fine with that. It's clearly not ideal, but Champion of Dusk is a good one. Opponent just has all the options now, so we're going to have to find at least one more Wrath. Luckily our deck has 6 of them. We've already gone through 2 though. They have Fatal Pushes in their main deck. Guess we're not blocking. We'll not put that in our graveyard, and we will not flip it either. Still gonna have 1 counter left over, but we're back to 16. Hopefully they just like vomit onto the board, like play 2 calls, or like just want them to play like 3 spells here and none of them be Radiant. Spell 1. That was Radiant. That's unfortunate. That's like the one we didn't want them to play. Not going well. So now we'll probably even have to find another Wrath. We'll not mulligan that. Actually not going to flip that either. Just no point to flip in these games. Game 1 of this should be close to a bye, but like we had like a pretty bad draw, and it looks like our opponents had what I would call an above average draw. But if we can draw maybe one more Wrath, we have a good chance. We still have a pretty high life total. Maybe not too. I mean, they drew 3 calls at minimum in their top 30 cards. That's already, like I said, running pretty well. Just again, don't want to take any damage if we can avoid it. Another Drakehaven might be useful. We'll have to see. He has like another champion that's backbreaking. And he does, of course. Why would you not? No, I guess we have to keep that. We will flip it this time, because there's a chance that we would use it. Depending on what goes on this turn. But even if we just like pay 2, cycle, make dude, like maybe we draw another 1 casting call cycler. Apparently I have a bug bite on my arm. It's itching quite a bit. But yeah, like I said, this is kind of the worst case scenario. Our opponent still has 7 cards in hand. They're up on mana, they're up on the board. Like, just everything seems to be going their way. And that's a good boy. Could have countered it, but I would rather just block 2 things this turn. Potentially, I'll even double block maybe if given the opportunity. Ixalan's Binding. Sure. I don't care too much about the binding as long as he doesn't have 2 of them. Another Radiant Destiny. Alright. Hey, no, what's up? Not a lot. We're just getting pretty wrecked right now. Like, we're just super far behind. So now we're just going to have to block 2 things here and try to prevent some damage. Can't afford to try to double block just to trade with 1 because we're in a spot where we have to have at minimum another Wrath. So we're not going to worry about getting a dude here. We do have enough mana that we could hit a Fumigate, but there's only 1 Fumigate in the deck. I still think we have to. It's a settle, so that means he can play around this. I think I'm going to hold the farmlands. No, I'm just going to play the farmlands too. Alright, so there's only 2 more Wraths in our deck after this settle. If it doesn't attack with enough things, we can just cast Renewed Fate. Or we can just take the damage. Both is a brilliant proposition at this point in the game. Interesting. Could just use Renewed Fate here and get another turn. I think that's what we're going to try to do. Hopefully we can just block this guy. Yes. Always yes. Always yield. It's one of the beautiful things about having like a bunch of settles and stuff, like have just a bunch of opportunities to do things like what we just did. We do have to turn the corner and start winning the game at some point though. I think we're just going to pass here. So he's just going to attack with the same 2 again. I will make the exact same block. Oh, he's going to attack with them all now? Alright. Well, you have successfully acquired our Settled Wreckage. I played green-white. I've played a couple of different iterations of green-white tokens lists. There's quite a few of them up on my YouTube channel. I like them pretty good. I think they're pretty solid decks. So I assume if he did that, he's got like double queen in his hand, or he has another call. Hopefully it's not another call. 4 calls in his top 35 cards would be a little hard to beat. But then again, you know, we have saw 4 Wraths. It's just double queen. That's not that bad. If it's just single queen, I don't even think we care. It's got to at least be double queen, right? What do we got in our hand? Countervailing Wind, that's just not going to do much, so we'll take the 1 mana cycler. Am I going to bother to cycle it on his turn? It gives him an opportunity to use these, so I don't think I'm going to bother with that. So if we use 3 mana, just go ahead and play it so it makes the math a little simpler. 1, 2, 3 on that. Then we have 1, 2, 3, make a dude. 1, 2, make a dude. So we can do like both of these. We're still dead in that scenario. Think I'm gonna do this anyway. Cause like a Fumigate's just so good here. So 2 and 1, 2 and 1. I'm just gonna take this. Now put 6 cards on the bottom, so you can attack for 24 damage here. If we choose, we can gain 12, so it's a good chance that he could just... Oh, okay, that should be the game. Unless we can cycle into our last settled wreckage. Alright, so if he's going to go for it all, it looks like we're going to have to try to find that settle. Probably easily win if we find that settle. Not to settle. One more try. So we put 6 cards on the bottom, so this is like a 1 in 22 chance. Boom, 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 boom. Nope. Alright, we're dead. I don't like our opponent's play during those last several turns, but it's whatever it is. Like, I'm pretty sure opponent just loses the game straight on the spot if we have settle there. Whereas I think he might have been able to win a extended game. Where's our last 2 rafts? But that's one of the things I was saying like before the matches start. The fact that we only have 3 settles, by the way, just feels like really bad. It feels like it loses a lot of power in these decks. Alright. Anyway, so for sideboarding, we definitely want this. I don't know what that means. Oh, that was game 1. We definitely want these. I don't want this, which means I also don't want this. I don't want this. These are fine. I don't want this. Yeah, I'm playing versus Venom. He's a pretty solid player. I don't want this. These do things. I think they're good enough. I actually don't think a 4D is good enough. A lot of people hate on me because of that, but I just don't think a 4D is very good in this match. Also, don't think we want both the sarcophaguses. We probably only need to draw one. What else can we side out? We gotta take out 6 more cards. I think it may just be some number of these. Kinda really just want to take out these Renewed Fates, but I'm not sure if that's right. Like, he's kinda an aggressive deck, but... like, I just want to do something like this. I'm gonna try this. Like we add another big raft to our hand that can do a lot of things. Alright, we'll keep this hand. It's a little unfortunate. They sideboard in some discard spells and stuff, which is why this hand's kind of unfortunate. Normally this would be a dream hand, but like, it's gonna throw pretty hard just to duress. Like, us losing this Illumination's like pretty crippling at this point. Definitely cycling this. Probably playing that. So opponent has 3 mana here. Radiant. Alright, you resolve. I'm going to save the second hieroglyphic in case I want to use a draw 2 next turn. Because we're very unlikely to want to use a cast out or a settle. JK, we were going to draw another one anyway. Yeah, Venom's a pretty quality player. I assume he's somewhere up on near the top of the leaderboards. Yeah, he is. He's got 17. That's a good boy. Pretty solid player. Doesn't mean I agree with every play he made. Kinda just want to use the cast out. Don't know what he would target from us. I guess he's going to take the approach if we use the cast out. I think I'm fine with that. He's not played anything that makes me need to settle yet. And I don't really care about the approach. It's like not really the #1 kill condition. That was a good one. I was hoping he didn't have double spell there, but it is what it is. So they have a field. They've already played their land for the turn, so I'm just going to save the time and press this. That's not great. I think I'm just going to pass. Venom beat me, knocked me out of the top 8 of the Pauper Challenge this weekend as well. I think I'm just going to go ahead and use this here. Like I was saying earlier, like just preserving your life total is really important, so they can't only, so they have to like make these all-out attacks with you, like we forced in game 1 towards the late game. Like it's just really, really important to force those attacks, or to set up a game where they have to force those attacks. That's a good boy. Not super concerned with it. Like we're kind of due a fumigate at this point. I guess we'll just play this then. It's not great because like they have positive attacks right now. They can just like blow the Shevet Dunes attack. I don't even have good blocks. And then they get to flip the Legion's Landing and like replace itself, but it's whatever. Did I forget to play a land? I think I forgot to play a land. Did Mardu Planeswalker? Oh, nope, I guess I played a land. I should have played the Rivulet though. They'd already saw the Rivulet. I'm actually just going to cycle both of these. I'll rephrase. I'm going to cycle at least one of these. Because I don't really care if we hit a good spell here and like I could turn these into lands or creatures. Yeah, so they profit and get a Drakehaven off of it, but I didn't care about the Drakehaven. Nope, I've definitely gonna saw that deck. It sounds kind of cool though. So this was the expected outcome here. They were gonna pop that, attack, get the flip to replace itself. We get to double block one of these, which is nice, but like I said, we're kind of far behind here in a game that we were really far ahead, which sucks. So we ended up taking 2 damage and getting a 3/3 off the board for a 2/2. I guess we just go ahead and play this because of the amount of discard spells that they have access to. Yeah, this is going rather bad. We're now 22 cards deep and we've only found one of our rafts, which is unfortunate. Like, we play 6 for a reason. You generally want to draw 2 to 3 at this point. Yep. The game's just going to be over if we don't draw one. It's pretty bad for us even if we do. Yeah, so we drew a settle. We need to dodge a discard spell, and we need to draw a probably an abandoned sarcophagus at this point. That was basically best case for them. Well, best case without it being a discard spell, rather. Or like a champion. Those are obviously the 2 best draws in their deck. Immortal Sun's like a really good one as well, but like, that was really nice. Alright. So we have to hit a good thing here. We need our abandoned sarcophagus or like one of our illuminations. Azcanta's not even particularly good because of that Field of Ruin. Another land. You can see the quality of our draws are just worse than theirs, even though we've drawn the same amount of cards. We need a second Field of Runes in this deck, like I was saying in the pre-game write-up, or the pre-game talk. Only having the one's been brutal both games, as Adantos have just been really good. Another cat would be wonderful. Yep. The bombs. So that puts us at 1. That's basically game. He's got 1,000 win or 1,000 cards that just win here, but like he's drawing almost like kind of tilting how poorly our draw is compared to his. And that's game. Alright, well, we just got smashed. Yep, I think normal Drakehaven or normal blue-white approach would have beat that match, but like we have just like so many bad cards in this build. The deserts are bad, not having the extra field of runes bad, being down one Wrath is bad. Not having access to real counter spells is bad. Not having a third search for Azcanta is bad in a match like that. Maybe I'm not supposed to take out the second Urbana Sarcophagus, but like I don't know how many cast outs Nixalan's bindings he has, and I don't really want to have to use my cast outs and forsake the worldlies on spells like that. I want him to be able to like kill his immortal sons and his radiant destinies, and like I feel like I'm gonna get overtaxed. Just kind of like want to draw one of those in the late game when it can take over. I think having two in the deck's just a blatant mistake because that increases your odds of drawing them early when they're bad just way too highly. But yeah, we managed to lose to a bye. Well, a bye for like the normal builds of the deck. And the games weren't particularly close. We were behind them most of the way. I guess we just go ahead and start cycling. Versus blue-white, I'll keep that. Yeah, so it's some kind of mirror. These matches are just terrible. They're not interactive at all. Whoever gets the lead generally just wins. There's like no real counterplay to them. Then like we're playing like 24-ish land decks, and like as soon as you start missing land drops, it's over. Cause like right here, we have to cycle to look for a drop, which gives them any opportunity to play anything they want. If we don't hit the land, the game's just over, assuming they hit a land. But like if they resolve an Urbana Sarcophagus or a Drakehaven right now, we're in dire straits. And there's just nothing you could do about it. Like if they play an Urbana Sarcophagus or a Drake, well, if they don't hit their land, I mean, there's things we can do, of course. That's the nature of Magic. Like everything I just said was reliant on like if they had a reasonable draw. If they don't have a reasonable draw, you can just ignore everything I just said. I'm gonna play this before he has a chance to be able to get it, so to speak, with a countervailing winds. First Azcanta typically wins these matches as well. This is more of a prize than Drakehaven at this point in the game. And it's something that we don't have to fight over if they have a cast out. Like we would throw a countervailing winds at a countervailing winds, and like if they have a censor or if they untap and play a cast out, either way we're not upset because we have the backup one. Whereas if we played a Drakehaven and they play a counterspell and we play a counterspell and they have the fourth censor or untap and have the cast out, like then we're like pretty upset because we lost to Drakehaven. Whereas the Urbana Sarcophagus just gives us access to all of these cards in our sideboard or in our graveyard, which is similar to a sideboard in a spot like this. We even get to play one of these right off the bat, like assuming that he has like double cast out or something. He's having 6 mana for something. Is that 6 mana for an approach that he doesn't have? So here's kind of an interesting turn. In a game like this, you would almost never tap 2 mana for this Countervailing Winds. But the person who plays the first approach has such a large advantage in this match that I think it's actually worth risking their Abandoned Sarcophagus to try to find the land. Like, normally, like, this type of play is really, really bad. It's a similar scenario to where, like, if you have a Scarab God in play and there's a Scarab God in the graveyard, you never want to tap your last 4 mana into an, you know, like, open mana where they can have a removal. But, like, casting this first approach is so powerful that I believe it's worth it. So hopefully we'll get there. And we, of course, did not get there. Interesting. Guess we just play a second one of these then. We're way behind on lands. Like, they even get to cycle one there. That's just insane. Like, blows my mind that they're in a spot where they can ever cycle a land. I don't think I'm going to offer... yeah, I don't think I'm going to offer to abandon up this time. We're just going to keep playing the game that we're currently playing. Seems like we can reasonably win like this. Alright, so what's the worst card in our hand? Probably this. Um... Yeah, this is just a plan now. 3 Countervailing Winds in our graveyard, probably never tapping below 6 mana again. Maybe even 7. Um... JK. We're gonna go one more. That was a mistake. I probably should have got rid of the cast out first, but... There we go. I kinda wanted that. I don't mind to draw land here, so I'm just bashing with the Maul. If he's got a Settle the Wreckage, we're not upset. Would not protect that with a counter spell. We're just fine with how the board state looks here. He has to deal with our 3 Drakes before we care about dealing with anything. Fumigate? It's acceptable. Feels like he pressed F6, but still just not going to risk it. Like I said, very happy with how the board looks. There's absolutely no reason to risk it. 4 hard counter spells in our sideboard. Or, sorry, in our graveyard. We have double Drakehaven now. There's just no reason to risk anything at this point. We're just way too far ahead to care. He's got Settle, I don't care. I do have to worry about milling myself. It's acceptable. Because it makes all of our future turns so much more powerful. We are even close to a point to where we could almost cast this approach now. But I have 4 Rivulets in our deck. I did not realize that. We may have to try to win with Rivulet. I didn't realize that they were playing a bunch of Rivulets. Yeah, we just lost, I think. Wow, how did I not notice that? We have to just win with Drake or with these now. If he can actually mill that from us this time, if he wants. We could put it in our hand, but I'm not sure that it's worth it. So there's 4 cards. Alright. I don't think we can do anything about it. We just have to raw draw the last approach. You can get 8 more cards out of us, so our approach needs to be in our bottom 4 cards? Or we're just dead? It has to be in our bottom 4 cards or we're just dead? That's kind of crazy, isn't it? Alright, it's not there. No, we just died. What do you do? Guess we could have saved that? Interesting. He did hit all of those 2 in that sense. Oh, nice. Our approach actually is in our bottom 4 cards. I guess we just draw it this turn and go on about hoping we can resolve it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, yep. Let me just see if we can resolve it. I don't think we were supposed to win this game. I'm pretty sure we did. I'm surprised he's making us take the time to do this. Alright, you can have that. And we win. That game was interesting. I can't believe I didn't notice all these rivulets. Alright, so if he's on the rivulet plan, I guess we want this. He didn't show us any Drakehaven stuff, did he? Like, what happens if he just doesn't have Drakehaven in his deck? That's definitely an interesting dilemma. I think I'm just bringing most of this stuff in either way. I don't think Censor's that great. I'm leaving in Settles over Fumigates because they're better versus Drakehaven themselves. This hand is great. We got pretty lucky to close that last game out. Like, we were super far ahead, and we just kind of got really lucky. But that card has gone down so much. We get a bright early best card, which is nice. They have a Drakehaven. I'm actually not going to put a land in the graveyard. I'd rather kill his Drakehaven than worry about casting mine. Got him. Again, I'm not putting this land in my graveyard, even though, like, I arguably could. He's already missed at least one land drop, so I just want to keep going in this neighborhood. And the next turn, I'll play a Drakehaven, probably with the counterspell back up. Actually, based on his mana, I'm just going to slam this. Like, there's a chance that this just wins the game before he gets to a point to where he can combat it. If he hadn't missed 1,000 land drops, there's no way I would ever keep that card. But, like, I don't even mind if he plays, like, Settle here. Like, if he plays Settle here, I consider that a win. Like, my plan is just to try to ride that card now. Have a Censor for the first Fumigate. We're going to get as much damage as we can protecting this, and then when we can't protect it anymore, we will cast a Drakehaven. How much do we care about cast out? Can't really do anything about a cast out anyway, so I'm literally just going to slam this. No. I want to try to find a land. That's not a land. I'll keep that. I don't want to put both cats on the field because of us not being able to pay for a fumigate. So I don't mind to attack here into a potential settled wreckage. I think I'm just going to slam this thing now. Which one's my deck? Like, what do we call my deck at this point? The deck I'm playing today, or like my approach deck? Not sure which one we're talking about. 100% cycling the sensor this turn. Well, assuming that we can't like censor a fumigate or something. Okay, the one I'm playing today. It's an interesting deck. So if he doesn't hit a land, that's pretty good for us. No, he hit a land. That's considerably less good for us. Hey James, how you doing today? Not a lot, just cycling some drakes, having some fun. See if we can find a negate, I guess. Cycling this either way because it gets us to a guaranteed flip of the Search for Azcanta if we choose to. Which we may or may not choose to based on the game situation. So you can like resolve a cast out now, but like cast out's not very good here. A Renewed Fate, don't care about that. That just lets us attack with everything. Definitely to the graveyard, definitely flip. That's an approach. So what do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you're just 10, 11, 12? Alright. No thinking activated. This is worse versus him having a second Renewed Fate that he can cycle. But it does present lethal of this turn, and that's good enough for me. Assuming my math is correct. If he did like have a Renewed Fate, then untap into Fumigate, then we still have an approach that we can just cast next turn, and an active Search for Azcanta, and a Drakehaven. So like we still probably can come back and win that game, though that would obviously suck really badly. Wouldn't make those exact plays versus everybody, but how the texture of that game had played out, it seemed like it was okay. We're 1-1. I think there's a good chance that we should be 2-0. I don't think I really done anything that egregious in match 1, but I do think we drew a little less than great. I'd like to rebuild this deck with a different mana base and a few different choices and spells. Like I would like to cut this, I'd like to cut this. Want to add a second one of those and a fourth settle right off the top. It's like the quickest things I can think of without putting a lot of thought into what I would change. Ooh. Potentially a green-white token deck. Somebody was just asking about that. I believe it was Null. Yep. 2 defeats in the main board? Wow. That guy does not want any of your BS, man. Playing this island was actually wrong. The more I look at it, the more I should have, yeah, well, it's gonna end up being fine, since we're casting a Censor on that anyway. But I should have played the Rivulet so I'd had access to double cycle. Oh. Sure. He's got 2 in the board and a Nimble in the main. Gotcha, gotcha. I have a Nimble in the sideboard as well. I'm not sure how I feel about Nimble in general. We're definitely going to counterspell that again. Just delay the game as much as possible while we look for high-end shenanigans. There's an argument that I could have just went ahead and jammed Cast Out on this, but I'm not positive I'm even going to play the Cast Out this turn. I might just play the Hieroglyphic Illumination. It all depends on what he plays post-combat. Just a second cat, definitely casting the Hieroglyphic Illumination then. If this had been an Ixalan's Binding, I would have played it, but it does not. Go ahead and get this down before a Blossoming Defense can tear us up too badly. Probably cycle this Illumination. Opponent is struggling with lands this game. Another kitty. An approach, that's a good boy. I think that's what they say in the pictures. We've not drawn a Wrath yet. We could still very easily lose this game. Go ahead so we can F6. Another Cast Out's a nice one though. Gives us a lot of leeway on our following turn, especially if we don't draw our land. Well, that's not good for us at all. I think we're going to start with this. Well, sometimes you just don't draw a Wrath or your lands somehow. You'd think you'd got one or the other. Do have a Field of Ruin for Mr. Adanto over there, but we're dropping to a minimum of 9 this turn. If he's got an Appeal in hand, we're going to probably be in pretty bad trouble, assuming we don't draw a Settle. Settle or a land's probably enough. Fumigate, Settle, or land. See, 4 of our lands come into play tapped. And we have 14. We have 20 live draws in our deck, so we're like 50% to hit, probably. But we probably have to hit. That's the problem. Well, we didn't. Let's start with this. So now we're 50% again. But maybe the land's not good enough now. Come on, opponent. Hmm. We're just going to pass here. We can protect ourselves from one appeal. We can't beat Sheffet Dunes, and we can't beat double appeal. Hmm. Well, we're just dead to another appeal unless we draw a Wrath. We could play this, gain 6. That's not good enough. Alright, if he's got another appeal, the game's just over. If he draws a Sheffet Dunes, the game's just over, but we missed on a land drop. We went 23 cards deep without drawing our land, or without drawing any of our 6 Wraths. If he doesn't have any of those cards, the game's just over in our favor as well, so. Oh, he's got Pride, so that's game 2. That's unfortunate. Like, this is another one of those matches that's comically easy to win, but like, if you just don't draw your spells, you don't win. I don't like losing games that are comically easy. All of these cards are fine. Cards that aren't particularly good in a match like this. Those aren't particularly good. This dude's not great. We actually don't need Drake Havens. We can just win with our approach way, way too easily. The 40s aren't particularly good either. Like, they kill with overkill so often that it's just not something that matters. You basically just have to draw a Wrath and then an approach, and that's just all that matters. Sorceress Cantos are fine on the play, but they're obviously not ideal cards. It's 2 games in a row. Sorry, 2 matches so far that, well, round 1 and at least game 1 of this match, I feel like we've lost entirely based on our deck construction. Feel like if we just play Blue-White Approach and or Blue-White Drake, we win either of those games. Hey, Vlad, I've been doing pretty good. How have you been doing? Alright, we snap keep this. So our hand's pretty good here. You know, I've saw the Mono White Approach deck. I played it on stream once. It seems just worse than Blue White Approach to me, but I mean it's a reasonable deck. You can win with it. Like, it's competitive. It's kind of interesting. Are they actually playing around Censor or something? Or do they really not have another 1 or 2 drop? Because one of those things seems crazy. Alright, well, things are going bad here. Have to hit our lands. Our opponent didn't even have a third land for like infinite turns, and we still somehow lost that last game. I can't even accuse opponent of having a good draw, because they didn't have a good draw. They had a very, very medium draw. Guess I'm just going to do this one. Just really looking for a land. Think I'm willing to cycle a Renew Fate before I miss a land drop. Yeah. So you saw how game 1 went. We drew a third of our deck and we didn't find one of 6 cards. And then we missed 50% or twice to get the pretty guaranteed win. And in this game, we just have to drop our shields because we don't have the lands. We do have a River's Rebuke and a Settle this game, though. So, like, depending on what's in his hand, like, they could be enough. Okecha. Okecha's pretty good. But again, we're just missing land drops. And this is absolutely frustrating. Just frustrating. I already clicked always triggered yes. That's frustrating too. Land, please? Really need a land here. It's like very important that that be a land. That way we can at least hold up our counterspell. Think I'm going to go ahead and counterspell this. It's one of the things that putting it back in his hand doesn't really hurt. And I'm also going to just untap and jam cast out on that, especially if we get a land. Spoiler, we didn't get the land, but we're still going to make that play. We're going to look for a land. Just don't want to miss a land drop. And we finally missed a land drop, even though we're, you know, we've cycled 1,000 cards. And that's fine. "24 lands is just not close enough if you're trying to be an approach deck. We'll draw 2 cards of this one. Similar to before, like just doing anything we can to find lands. Alright, now we seem like we're in okay shape. We have a high life total. He's almost out of cards. We have a negate for his first real spell. We have double settled wreckage. We're probably not likely to die to what's on the table. So like he pretty much has to have a quality play here. That is not a quality play. Like I don't care about taking 5 damage at all. So now we just have to find approach, which is harder said than done because there's only 2 copies instead of the normal like 4. Or sorry, instead of the normal 3 and sometimes 4. I misspoke. Definitely going to just settle here. Don't want to take any more damage because, oh, never mind. I'll take 1. Yeah, 25 to 26 is pretty important, but this is like a Drakehaven approach hybrid, so like there's like a whole lot more cyclers in the deck. But like we had to spend all of these cyclers and like all of these like hieroglyphic illuminations just to try to find lands, and that's like incredibly bad. Alright, I'll take another 3. Don't care. And now we're drawing a land every draw step. Maybe we're not supposed to take out the Abandoned Sarcophagus, but like they're just so bad to draw early. Negate, kind of poopy. It's kind of interesting that they have a bunch of Gideons. Probably let this beat us down to like 4 or 5 before we care. Alright, we're about halfway through our deck. It'd be nice to find this approach. I'd probably even accept like a Fumigate right now. Ouch. Milling both's gotta be disappointing. Alright, we'll accept this. Yes, I know he can bring a 4-4 back, but not real concerned about him bringing the 4-4 back because we don't mind to settle just the 4-4. You certainly can't have that thing back. You have to have multiple naturalizers if you want that one back, friend. And we can start pressing F6 now, though, so that's fun. Approach? Not approach. Sure. Alright. You may have a land. Could have just cast River's Rebuke last turn as well to like, he turns his 4-4 into a 1-1. But, that just counterspells the next real threat, doesn't it? Not counterspell any threat with that at this point? Nah, it's not good enough. Looking for approach. Cat Scratch Fever, you say? Looks like we're taking 3. SRAM's Expertise resolves. That resolves. Looks like we're going to cast Settle on that, and then probably River's Rebuke and attack. Alright, he's done. I probably don't concede there, like we clearly don't have anything. But maybe I do. Okay, well, this game played out a lot differently than I expected it to play out. Maybe I want one Urbana Sarcophagus if games are just going to go like infinite long. This card also still feels good. I don't know what I would take out for one Urbana Sarcophagus, though. Maybe Countervailing Winds is just too slow. And Countervailing Winds probably isn't actually very good. We could have brought in the Crook of Condemnation. Like, maybe I should have thought about bringing this in a little. We could get certain Adorned Pouncers and things. Yeah, that felt like an early concession to me. Our hand here is pretty good. His hand is also pretty good. We have to find another white mana and a Raft before it's too late, though. Definitely counterspelling whatever he plays this turn for the first spell because we don't want him to get a third creature for the Legion's Landing that early. Think I'm just playing this one. Like, we just need the land count in general. It lets me play Cast Out next turn. Still have negate for like a token producer here. Would obviously suck if it's like Jungle Pioneer, because then we probably have to. Ooh, all right, we can cast out that, or we can negate that, I guess. Interesting. I think we're probably just taking 3. Probably casting the Hieroglyphic Illumination. I think a lot of it depends upon what he plays. Yep, definitely casting the Hieroglyphic Illumination. Alright. You can do it, deck. Untapped White Source? That's not an untapped White Source. That is. Wonder if he just tilts off and concedes to this. Probably not, but we do have double cast out for whatever else he has. Saram, does he have another spell to go with it? Yep, that's pretty nice. Alright, so he's now out of cards, but we have some choices to make. I think I'm actually going to cast this out. I don't want him to get a dude every turn now, from now until ever. Yep, that's the play I think I'm making, Vlad. Yeah, I would rather cycle this guy. That was a good draw, because now we can play our Abandoned Sarcophagus, or we could have kept up Countervailing Winds, whichever we chose. If it attacks with a mile, I'll probably settle. Casting this Abandoned Sarcophagus was just bad. I just realized it was like a very, very bad play. Like, playing this was terrible. You don't want to play this until the turn you're going to get some kind of value out of it, because like now if he just has a cast out or a naturalized, we're really far behind. When we could have just settled this turn while leaving up Counterspell, and next turn played the Abandoned Sarcophagus, and been able to get some amount of value or use like a Countervailing Winds or something. That was just very, very poor of me. Oh. If he crews this, we'll obviously just throw a cast out at it. If not, we won't. That's pretty good for us. My favorite point in Magic, when they're starting to play around settles. So we're going to take 1 damage this turn. That just has to be a win. I could have counterspelled that, and I probably should have in all honesty, but I feel like we have enough cyclers and card draw here that we'll probably draw something before it matters. And I didn't want to just throw that away for like no punitive value. Guess I'm willing to cycle this one now too. Could have made a mistake. I don't know. We are drawing like a bunch of cards. That's fine. Let's see how many of them he attacks with this turn. Oh god. We're just dead. He attacks with them all. Just attacking with that? That doesn't even present lethal. Seems like it's good enough though. So what do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2. I guess we just play this so we can get some of our life back while holding up settle. That was a mistake though. I should have probably cast the Desert of the True first. Yeah, that was just a play mistake by me. If he only attacks with that, we have a quite easy one of these at least. So say he draws an appeal, puts it on that, we counterspell the appeal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'd have to cycle both of these first, which we can't do, so I think we have to take a turn off here and hope. I think we have to just take the turn here and hope. Puts us at 9. I think Appeal's the only card that's really that bad for us here. We're just dead if he draws it. But we're probably dead if a lot of things happen, so... yeah, that's not bad for us. So he's flipping that. So we can block him here, him here, him here, and I gain 4 life overall. We know our thing's 7 cards down. I'm going to draw 2 cards at least. But he didn't bring it back. That's crazy. So now we know it's 5 cards down. Now we know it's 4 cards down. What can we do? What do we have to do? 4 cards down? We don't have to do anything anymore, do we? We just draw it next turn and win. Guess we can cycle this. We're probably just going to set behind our 2 countervailing winds. So it's now 3 cards down. Oh. Well, we can just play this and then draw it next turn 100%. And we have 3 cyclers, so we're going to draw it next turn. There's not really anything he can do about it. We're at 21 life, so this game's just over. Unless there's like a field of runes or something that can make me tap the deck. It's like the one thing that could change this game. I guess he could have played of Gideon. Gideon could have changed this game, but like... We have 10 cards in our graveyard, so... he can't resolve the Gideon through the one countervailing winds. And after this, it'll be the top card of our library. Or we counted wrong. Apparently I counted wrong somewhere. So I didn't expect to win that game. But we'll take it. Did we 2-0 or did we 1-2? We 1-2. The game that we got prided out when he only had 2 lands game 1. That we lost that, I forgot. Then we won when we went to just straight approach. Alright, this hand's a clear keep, even though having double Search Rascanta is like obviously pretty crappy. We have no interaction, so like even a blue-black mid deck could just run over this deck potentially, especially if they have like a glint on 2. I've not read all the spoilers yet, but I think there's a card maybe called Silhouette or something for white that is going to be excessively good. Alright, that's not that bad for us. I think we are a better Search Rascanta deck than they are. They do have more Field of Runes than us, so like that's a thing, but it's not that big of a thing. Especially if they just untap and play like Champion this turn, and we can resolve a Drakehaven, that'll be wonderful. You got a long way to go to win the game, but like that's just a wonderful maneuver for us. And maneuver's probably not the right word. Sequence. I actually don't want to get rid of that. It's our only Field of Rune in the entire deck. If we had more than one Field of Rune, we would 100% throw it away. But when we only have one, I think we want to save it for a Search Rascanta because he's going to be flipping his Search Rascanta before we are. I don't want to just get buried by card after card after card after card, etc. They got a bunch of champions, but champions aren't that good versus us, so that's a good thing. Now we're going to aggressively put cards in our graveyard. We have lands for the next 2 turns, and then we'll try to find some lands or something after that. I think I want that too. This is unfortunate. You just don't want to keep this many cards with your Drakehavens. It's just not part of the plan. We almost have to take the damage this turn as well because we can't afford to like spend 2 and make a thing and then he'll just like untap him or just tap his 5 mana and resolve an easy Scarabino. This is like not something we're looking forward or wanting him to do. So we'll just go end of turn, play something, go on about our day. These games are really hard, especially now that they have the commits and stuff in their main deck. They used to be just like super easy before that. Not excited about that card. That card's very good. It's another card that's like surprisingly really good versus us. Yes, we want to yield. Yes, we want to always yield. I think we're going to actually cycle the sensor too. Like, he's out of the sensor range, potentially being useful. And we're just looking for good spells now. Yeah, I think Teferi's kind of sweet. I don't know where there's a home for it, but I think the card itself is pretty intriguing. Probably going to be cycling both of these this turn. Hey, Shaolin, thank you for the host. Hope you had a good stream. Highly appreciate it. Guess we're just going to block one. Just don't want to let our life get too low when he's got a walking ballista like that. Oh, in arena, nice. I've been super unlucky. I've not hit a single rare or mythic wild card yet, except for the ones that you start with. It's slightly tilting. I did get paired versus one though. It actually seems pretty competitive. Hope it went very well though. Hey, DMK. Yeah, definitely going to cycle this thing as well. Sure, we don't get a Drake, but that's not part of the game plan at this point. I opened a Carnage Tyrant out of my initial pack, so I've kind of been like focusing on like random Carnage Tyrant decks so far. It's kind of interesting, because like we can just draw it back if we want. I kind of don't want it though. It's like I kind of just don't even want it. What's better for me to try to resolve now? An approach with... Guess I'm just going to replay the Drakehaven. Plan on just casting approach into approach. Well, not approach into approach. Take care, man. Thanks for stopping by. I have a YouTube channel if you care at all where we post all our videos. There's a link below the stream. Figure he's probably going to spend the majority of his turn buying back one of these champions at this point. Or even potentially, like, if his hand's like really, really bad, letting us take a ride to commit. But the champion makes more sense. It's also the one that I'm less concerned about. Let's snap block this. So what do we have going on here? We put that in our graveyard? No, I think we'll go ahead and draw it. Oh, I didn't mean to flip this. That was a misclick. I didn't mean to flip this. There's no point in flipping this when we already had 7 mana and he had a Field of Rune up. There's just no point. We get an extra scry if we did it in a different manner, but it's just a play mistake. Oh, such a bad play mistake, actually. Super impactful play mistake. Because it kind of makes me play approach now whether I want to or not. And I don't really want to play approach. But I'm not going to have much of an option now, I don't think. All because I made that play. If he's going to do this, he should attack before he does it because he could cycle, or if we had like a 1 mana cycler, we'd have a potential blocker. Hopefully he like plays a Scarab God or something to go with it, but again, if he wanted to play the Scarab God, he would have probably played it before he did that, so. Ho hum, ho hum. How do we win from here after we make such a bad error? I think we're just going to play this. Probably forces him to use a Gear Hulk if he does have it. Oh, it did not force him to have a Gear Hulk. So we can censor a Gear Hulk. Sure. Try to go to 21 here. So playing the Azcanta there is like almost getting another land. Assuming he doesn't, like, you know, send us for a journey. Alright, we definitely want to flip this one. Like, actively want to flip this one. Flipping the other one was a big play mistake. Sell to Wreckage is nice. Short. Short. To see what happens this turn. There's a good chance he's got like a bunch of fatal pushes and stuff in his hand, so like this is a lethal attack that he's presenting. If this is all that he's attacking with, we're going to start with the Hieroglyphic Illumination and try just to block. If he's attacking with both, we're going to start with, or we'll start with the Settle. So it all depends on which he has. If he's got like a counter spell plus a removal spell, then we are just dead and there's nothing we can do. Unless we like cycle into another cycler. Then if he has multiple removal spells, we would still be dead. The removal spell can't be Vraska's Contempt though. Unfortunate. So we're just dead if he has Fatal Push. We're also just dead if he has Supreme Will. I don't think there was anything else we can do. That's absolutely fine. It's actually good for us. Like that's actively good for us. We also just win now. Unless he has like well, I guess we win anyway. Because we had a sensor. And I'm not going to even bother to cast a hieroglyphic illumination that's in our graveyard. Alright, game one. Okay, these games are a lot more difficult post board. I think we want the Crook of Condemnation. I think we want these negates. I think we want these Jace's defeats. Don't think we want the cats because Torrential Gearhulk's too good. Those do things, but I'm not sure if they're good enough. Like, they get Argos Bloodfast, they get Search for Azcanthus, they make them kill Walking Ballistas, they get Torrential Gearhulks. Okay, I've convinced myself they're good enough. I don't think we want this, and I don't think we want this. So what don't we want? We definitely don't want you. We definitely don't want any of you. We got to get rid of 2 more cards. Normally I would shave a Drakehaven, but my normal builds have 4, so it's kind of harder to shave that. It's probably some combination of like Fumigate and or Settle that we get rid of. Not actually sure which it is. I think I'm just going to get rid of one of both, and we're going to pray that we don't get buried by Glint Siphoner because we have no farm in markets. We have no Baffling Ends, so like that card's just pretty brutal. Could argue that this is maybe just better than a Censor. Censors aren't particularly great anyway. They almost always get cycled in this match. This hand's a keep. I'm not sure we would beat somebody like Matthew Folks. I didn't last game. I didn't think our hand lined up particularly well with what he was doing. Let's go ahead and play one of these. I wouldn't cast Search for Azcanta here even if we had to untap land. I just think it's too important. I'm also not going to cycle this Censor because we're on a... he could just like untap and have Gonti or something. Gonti's pretty good. Alright, we'll start cycling some of the lower impact cards. Actually, I think I'm actually just going to cast this Search here. I'll protect it with a counterspell too if he uses a thing on it. And the only reason I'm doing this is because we still have a cast out to like get a Scarab or one of his powerful enchantments if he untaps and plays one. Alright, he can have that. Just don't want to drop our shields. Hey, Mike. It's been going pretty good. How have you been doing? I'm not in love with the deck we're playing, but it is pretty fun. I do like that it's attacking from a little bit of a different angle. Alright, well that just has to resolve. Unfortunately, probably takes the Banned Sarcophagus or the cast out, but it really depends upon the texture of his hand. I'm cycling the Censor this turn almost for sure. Alright, well, we're going to cycle the sensor for sure. And based upon if we hit, or if we're going to need a land drop or not, we'll decide whether we're going to cycle one of these. And that means we're not. I am willing to put that in our graveyard. Liliana's Death's Magistrate. That is fine, unfortunately. I don't really care what they hit. I'm just using this outer way, so I'm going to go ahead and press F6 and save the time. It's a land, so we're just definitely not getting rid of it. Now we're going to start jamming our draw twos. We'll actually even play a draw two into that. Maybe we'll hit negate. We could counterspell it and make us use a Jace's Defeat too. He did not. So pretty quick clock. That's really, just really, really solid. Think we're going to go ahead and cycle these. We're now what I consider kind of far behind, and I'm going to try to flip to Azcanta. Basically, I just want the extra lands. Ooh, I don't know if I can get rid of that one. That one's a problem. That one is a problem. And we're still just going to get rid of it so we can flip it. Not punished in the least. Alright, we'll start with this. Hey, GC. Pretty far behind this game, but we're not like code dead. Like the Fumigate and some counter spells with these counter spells could be enough to like crawl our way back in. Maybe just drawing approach is enough. If we do resolve this or ban a Sarcophagus, I think our odds go up a pretty fair amount. Alright, we're just going to tap this for blue mana. So this resolving would be really nice. And if this doesn't resolve, all of our resources are now officially gone. But it resolves, so I guess that's good. Still not in great shape. He's going to be drawing another card. He's going to be going up to 5 cards in his hand, and he gets to make the first action. And our graveyard's actually not that good. Our graveyard would be good if we were at a reasonably even spot in the game, but when we're this far behind, it's just not that good. The graveyards help you stay ahead. They don't really help you catch up with Abandoned Sarcophagus. But who knows? Again, we can just draw a Fumigate and just like be right back into the game. We did leave 2 in, I believe. Yeah, we left 2 in. We're like halfway through our deck, so like we're getting pretty close to where we should draw one. You know, on the math side of things at least. I guess this isn't going to really do anything else, so I might as well go ahead and make him spend the mana. Stops him from being able to play like Scarab God this turn or whatever. Does not stop him from playing Gonti, though. That's a pretty good one. A pretty good one. We have enough cyclers that there's a good chance we just get to replay it. Oh yeah, the Champion of Wits in his hand, too. Yeah, well, this is one of always the cool things about this deck. You can be really far behind, and like we're still really far behind, but like that gives us a fighting chance to try to get there. Because like he doesn't have to have another counter spell. I mean, the math's in his favor. The math's super in his favor if he doesn't buy back a champion, because that means he's got a Torrential Gearhulk in his hand, and we will not beat a Torrential Gearhulk from this spot. Alright, well, we're far enough behind that I'm going to take the gamble. I'm going to go ahead and reveal it myself. And hope to draw like runner 1-mana cyclers, which just isn't very lucky or very likely. And if we do, we have enough mana to still win. And if we don't, the game's over on the spot. It's a gamble that I think we had to make there. We didn't draw 1 Wrath the entire game. It's pretty sucky. I'm gonna bring this other Fumigate in. I don't know if that's being result orientated or if it's actually just good. Where's my cell phone at? This hand's not great. Think it is above a mulligan though, mainly because we have the negate. Definitely didn't want to draw. So like last game we drew no Wraths in basically 30 cards, and this game we added 1 to our deck and drew 3 in 8 cards. That's just a recipe for not great things, my friends. I'm gonna have to cycle a minimum of 1 of these illuminations. Just cannot miss the land drop. Already feel terribly behind this game. Like, our hand's practically dead versus their game plan. Really need to draw like a land into a search for Azcanta. I guess we have to cycle both because we can't afford to miss a land. And now that's the fourth Wrath. I will be absolutely shocked if we win. I guess I could have just slammed Drakehaven and hoped, but like we don't even have a cycler in our hand, so I'll be shocked if we win with essentially 4 dead cards. 2 that I would like to have sideboarded out, but I didn't see enough cards in our sideboard to really take them out. Like, they would just be Censors, and Censors aren't particularly good, so I'm not actually sure. That's the best card in his deck, so if he has a Jace's Defeat or a Negate here, it's like pretty devastating for us. Just casting it, not worrying about trying to protect it because I feel like we're going to lose the late game anyway. So it's kind of like a Hail Mary. Second Bloodfast. Their card's better than our card. And not even by a small amount. Really? You brought in Gifted Everborn versus me? That doesn't seem like something you want. Guess what? I don't want you to draw extra cards though, so I am going to go ahead and get rid of it. That's actually a good card. It's unfortunate that we can't cycle it. We have to actually kill the Bloodfast. Assuming he taps low enough to allow that. Which, I guess he can't tap low enough to allow that. He doesn't have enough black mana? Yeah, well that's 2 problems gone. He does more than double the cards in his hand as us, though. Yeah, that's a good one too. Alright. Kinda sucks to do this because this puts this in the graveyard for him. And like that's clearly a great thing for him, but it's worth it to kill the Glen, I think. Yeah, the blue-black control match is a lot different than the one that can actually pressure you. Really? So do you have a bunch of counterspells or something in your hand? Curious why you did not bring this out to play, yay. Alright, so this is what we need to start trying to win this game. So this is our quote-unquote Hail Mary coming into potentially fruition, but it's like so far ahead of us on lands right now. He's not ahead on cards anymore, but he still has this Champion of Wits in his graveyard, so. Why did he put a Gonti in his graveyard? Does he have a Liliana in his hand? Second champion. Oh, I got a sneeze. Not good. Alright. Let's start cycling. Not a card we want. Yeah, a card we kind of want. Actually, I have a chance here. It's going to be hard. Especially if he has like Golden Demise sideboarded in and drone, but a chance is a chance. A horse is a horse, of course, of course. Especially if we like cycle this Countervailing Winds into like more Countervailing Winds or something. He may just have to go for Scabrino here. And if he does, that's going to make some interesting decisions for me. Because, like, we can't beat Gifted Everborn if he does that. Well, maybe we can. Hey, local, what is up? Yeah, I think if he plays Scarab God, we may just have to let it resolve. And hope that one of our two settled wreckages resolve, especially when there's not a counterspell in his graveyard. Because, like, the Countervailing Winds could cycle into more Countervailing Winds and things. Hey, James. Well, that definitely resolves considering I can't do anything about it. Golden Demise still kind of beats us, but do you sideboard Golden Demise in? Maybe. You may sideboard one in. It's down to 25 cards too, and we can actually mill him for 12. Doomfall. Exiles a creature he or she controls. Alright, well, obviously we're not going to even try to stop that. Alright, let's see if we can get there. Would like to hit just any cycler to go with this. One time. Did not get there. And then we bricked again with another land. That's probably game. I can't imagine that we get 3 attacks unimpeded here. I think we had a real good shot if we'd hit another cycler there. Definitely gonna go ahead and cast Settle anyway. Go ahead and cast Settle anyway. But he's sculpted his hand so much at this point that there's just no way these 2 Settles resolve. They've been dead basically the entire game. So we really just don't have any outs at this point. Like, chaining Cycler into Cycler into Cycler or something, like, is the long shot con out, but it's just not realistically any outs. Well, that's just not going to resolve, is it? And if it does, it doesn't really do anything. It just doesn't do anything even if it does resolve. Too far behind. Like I said, Abandoned Sarcophagus helps you stay ahead or helps you close a game, but it doesn't help you come back when you're behind. We're in a situation right now to where we're really far behind. Could have not conceded last game and potentially timed this guy out, but like that's just not what we want to play. You also put a card on top here, so that's also bad. And like our plan's literally to chump block. That's just not a game we're going to win, I don't think. Like we're actively going to try to chump block here. What cards do I side in versus Grixis with this deck? Basically how we sideboarded this game. I bring in the negates into Jace's defeats, mostly. So like on a personal level, I bring in versus Grixis, I like bring in these 4 cards if I expect and or see a lot of Argos Bloodfast and Search for Azcanta. I also consider bringing in the Forsake the Worldlies, but the Forsake the Worldlies aren't cards that I always bring in. It depends on what I see from them. And I probably bring in the Crook as well. I don't want to draw the 2 cards first, because then if he just has a removal spell, I can't try to protect it. I want to be able... I don't want to die just to a removal spell. I think that we just can't beat a, what do you call it? The 4 mana thingy. Can't beat a Walking Ballista either, especially if he has a counterspell. Yeah, we can't beat this if he has a counterspell, and he left a card on top, so he pretty clearly has a counterspell. And we don't have anything in our graveyard that does anything, so that's a good game. I feel like we gave an opportunity away this game. I don't think we made any decisions wrong in our game. I don't know. Maybe we sideboarded poorly. Putting the last Fumigate back in the deck was probably very bad. Like, you generally, you need a few of them to keep them honest between Settles and Fumigates, but we probably had too many. Like, I could see that, like, maybe if we had one less Wrath and an additional Cycler, we might have won that game. So maybe I'm taking out too many cyclers when I took out 6. I didn't really expect to win with the Drake Havens, though. I just expected to block with them. I thought we'd be able to win with Approach of the Second Sons. Like, I thought Approach was game plan A. And that Drakes were like some kind of random backup plan. Maybe I'm just too biased and play Blue-White Approach way too much. Not exactly sure. I feel like we made good in-game decisions, but potentially sideboarded very poorly. This hand's great. Snap keep. Renewed Fate will probably get us to... Actually, I don't think I want that. Yeah, it's still the 5th land guaranteed, so... The Renewed Fate will very likely get us to Fumigate, so as long as they don't have a equipment, we should be okay. They're playing the build that potentially has Hazoret. That's pretty brutal. Thought we'd just basically locked up game 1, but Hazoret's like really hard to beat. Aggro decks in general are your worst matches with these type of decks. And they have that? Yeah. So, yeah, this just isn't going to go well. I have to put it in the graveyard. It's just not good enough. I feel like opponent chose to play anti-us deck. Let's go ahead and play this. He's not going to play around anything anyway, so... Cool, another one of those. If we draw to settle, we probably win. Wonder if it's worth it for us just to double Renewed Fate here and look for a settle? For the following turn, or whether we're just like pretty keyed in on just playing Fumigate on the following turn. Maybe I may double cycle anyway. Now, this deck not having access to any like farming markets or baffling ends is or even like come on, dog. Let's give us a fair shot. Don't have like literally all stone amazing cards versus us. If he tops it off of a Beaumont, I'm just gonna pull my hair out. Yep, we practically have no chance to win now. Why would you attack with all of that? Yeah, sure. Do I have to cast out that? Like, is that the actual go here? And if he draws a card, the Hazoret probably can't attack, so there's at least that. Just attacking those. Doesn't care. Play around the literal nothing. I guess we have to cycle and see if we hit a settle. No, that's a game then. Opponent's draw was just way, way too good. Cards that are bad in matches like these. Generally want to cut at least one of those and probably all four of these. I don't think these are particularly good in this match either. I'll bring in this thing, it can chump block. Looks like we're not going to acquire a pity chest today. I think we gave up some good opportunities though. I definitely think we could have won the 2 rounds we lost with just slightly better draws. I don't think we're beating this match hardly ever. It's like one of the reasons that Drakehaven isn't a competitive deck. Like, you just can't beat the aggro decks. And there's way too much mono red that exists. Just way, way too much mono red that exists. And there's not really a way to improve the match either. Like, I don't necessarily think Baffling End's a good card, but I believe you have to have access to, like, some kind of Baffling End or Effer Mutation type effect, and we just don't have that with this deck. Or at least Farm and Market at the very minimum. Or you can just hope you don't get paired versus red decks. Guess I'm going to play this. I don't think you auto-lose the turn 2 Siphoner. Like, those decks still need a lot of tools to beat you. It's obviously really hard to beat, but I think it is something that is beatable at least. Yeah, if we just get land, I think we have a reasonable chance. Problem is, I kind of want to play Drakehaven next turn, but, like, I can't really afford to miss the land drop, so, like, I'm just gambling. Yeah, we have some access to some tools here. Clearly love just to draw another untapped land. But even if we don't, we can do some blocking and stuff now. Hmm. Wait, this is the deck list we're playing, isn't it? Yeah, this is the deck list that I'm playing. Yeah, so we have to take the 5. I'm not going to cycle this because it being able to block is just too relevant. Guess I shouldn't press F6. Right, you can do it, deck. You did not do it. That is a another 2-mana cycler though, so that's almost as good. Or sorry, 1-mana cycler. I misspoke. Let's start with cycling this one. Because I may want to keep the cast out if possible. Alright, now that I've drawn the settle, I'm just going to snap the cast out away as well. Again, have to hit land drops. It's not a land drop. So this thing's going to get a lot bigger, which sucks, but... And he gets to turn this into this, which also sucks, but... It is what it is. Red Rover, send us a land on over. Put this over here. Yeah, you're a creature, you can go somewhere. That's the good boy. Not a land. This is the world we lead. At least he has to choose between a 3/3 and a card this particular turn. This is just life just giving it to us right now. Very likely if he doesn't play a discard spell. Yeah, but he's gonna make a good attack, and then like he's just gonna bury us in cards. Like there's just no way he attacks with all 3 cards. JK. I guess he doesn't care anymore because we didn't do it last turn? I don't know. I have no idea how he didn't attack with all 3 cards. Or how he attacked with all 3 cards. Like, Heaney's the only card I would even try to protect. So that's just odd to me. Hey, it's a Hazard. Guess we're just going to play this and attack. Like, just try to race the guy now, I guess. As long as he can't kill our Regal Caracol, like, we probably can race. JK, can't race anymore. The race is over. We have lost the race. So now we have to find an answer to the Harvester to continue to play. That's a pretty solid boy. You just shouldn't attack here. Yeah, that's smart. Could get a cheeky attack in. Like, crewing's an activated ability, right? So say we do that, he's taking 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Down to 8. But like next turn this just goes crazy. Yep. We're just wrecked. Yeah, back to trying to draw lands. Are you a land? Hey, you are a land. Just double block Harvester with Bird Person plus Drake. I'd rather triple block it with 3 Drakes. But I'm less worried about like getting this off the board. Like I can't attack through this while he gets to kill some of our stuff every single turn with these and these is the problem. The problem isn't him killing us anytime soon. It's he's just going to accrue so much value now that we're just in like really bad shape. I have to get the Harvester off the board to even try to continue to play. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Harvester is just going to kill me eventually. So if I can't get this off the board and actually start dealing damage, like I'm in just like really bad shape. The Fumigate's actually just bad at this point, so I think it's worth cycling in response to the duress. Yeah. That seems like that was a good idea. Like I said, don't care about the Fumigate. I mean, there's some way, you know, if we draw a cast out, we can like outrace him. I think we have to just block with a cat if he sends the Has. Yeah, it's only bad if I draw exactly cast out, but I would rather have a Drake than an extra Drake than like gamble on whether we're going to draw one of our last free cast outs. We also have one Urbana Sarcophagus left in our deck that I wouldn't really want to get rid of here, but I think I'm going to go ahead and cycle this main phase, because if I hit a cast out, I can attack this turn. Sooner or later, I'll get big enough that I can just win in the air. That's another cat. The other cat's a real good boy. You're a good kitty. Meow, meow. We're insulated from duress. If opponent duresses us, is it ever worth cycling the nimble? If we had 5 mana, say we had 5 mana, would it ever be worth cycling this just to try to draw a bad spell to discard to the duress to get a Drake as an additional Drakehaven trigger? Probably not. It's kind of a oh god, oh god, it's another good boy. Oh god, it's another Harvester. He's deeper in his deck than we are in ours, by the way. So now we need 2? Two cast out. Ooh, I forgot we just have these 2, right? Like, we can just win with approach. Like, he doesn't have infinite time. Like, we can literally just win with approach. actually think it's going to be really hard for opponent to win now. Unless he has like some kind of golden demise type effect, I think it's going to be very difficult for him to win. I mean, he could have one of those type of effects, right? Let's just keep a little marker over here so we know exactly where our approach is. Yeah, Lost Legacy would be a good card for him, but does he have all of that? Possibly? Nope. Apparently there's no Lost Legacy in his deck, and we now know that because he just doesn't scoop if there's Lost Legacy in his deck. I guess maybe he could have not sideboarded it in. I don't know if we showed it. We didn't show him an approach game one, I don't think. I don't think he should, but like some people board in sweepers versus drakes. I think they're almost primarily wrong, but you all the time see people like bring in Swelder or like Fiery Cannonade versus drakes when they're playing aggro, and I'm just like, wow, why are you doing that? It makes no sense. Even saw a green-white tokens deck sideboard Fumigate in versus me once. It just doesn't make any sense. I wonder if this could be a game ender in a spot like this. Like, how often does that last board state happen? If that last board state happens very often, like River's Rebuke could be good, but like, I just don't. I don't think that last board state happens very often. I think it actually happens exceptionally seldomly. And if it's going to I guess their Fury, this was back when the Danto was in the deck, so I guess their Fury was like, I'm not going to die that turn, and I can save my Dantos, and then like I can like bomb and eternalize my random dudes. And I'm just like, but I'm just going to make a million more Drakes. That didn't really get you anywhere. I was like, sure, you bought yourself a turn, but you did not win. I don't think that last game state happens real often. I kind of want these now, though, because we've saw both Argos Bloodfast, Scrap Heap Scroungers, and Harvesters. I don't know what I would take out for them, though. Finding something to take out for those is not going to be easy. Because I feel like we're pretty tight on cards anyway. Like, taking out another Cycler seems bad. And if I'm not taking out another Cycler, does that just mean like I'm cutting one Abandoned Sarcophagus? I mean, I guess I could see cutting a Sarcophagus. Maybe we can sideboard out one Cycler since we brought in one Cycler, but I don't know. Kind of still want to keep the Nimbles because like they do a lot of different things. I don't really like the card, but you can stop him from drawing a card. It can stop him from dealing 2 damage. It can stop him from crewing a Harvester, drawing a card with Glint, drawing a card with Bloodfast, buying back a Scrap Heap Scrounger, buying back a Dreadwonder. Oh god, can we keep this hand? Is authority good enough to keep this hand? I don't think it is. If I was playing blue-white approach, I would keep this hand. Alright, this hand's better, but not by much. Actually, just go ahead and put that on the bottom too, because we're going to have to find some kind of spell to even get to that part of the game. Let's do the old 1-2 combo Rooney. That's a good draw. Could get us some extra turns. Just like Baffling End right there would be so good. Think I'm just cycling this? Another Fumigate's actually pretty good versus the hand we see. So he gets to start drawing cards. It's unfortunate. It is. That's a good one. So, realistically speaking, we want to draw like Cast Out. Cast Out would be our best possible, I guess. Taking a minimum of 4 more damage. Playing the Glacial Fortress there kind of like shows that we drew it, but it doesn't prove that we don't have a Cast Out. There's 5 cards in this hand. This Hazoret's not attacking for a while. Presumably. So we're going down to 8 here. Six with a Hazoret activation. Alright, I guess I'm playing this. Figure out how to beat Hazoret later. Can't let him have another card. So this puts us back still at 8 when he uses this. Hopefully he's got like 3 lands in his hand and none of them are red or something. That's a hand we could beat. No. Well, at least these 2 cards don't play well together. Those 2 do, though. Alright, well that's just game. Actual no outs. Nothing we can do. This doesn't even buy us another turn. We're just doing it because stuff, reasons. Alright, well, no pity chest. Was not a fan of this build of the deck. Well, thought this build seemed pretty bad. Yeah, it seems like he's on mono black splashing Hazoret. That's fine. I don't think the mana's very good for that, but that's whatever. If you have it, you have it, and he had it every game off presumably the 4 Dragon Skull summons. I don't know. Wasn't a fan of this deck. It was like a lot of stuff in it that I didn't think was particularly good. Like, I like the idea of having Approach, because I think Approach is better game 1 than Drakehaven. But, like, Approach is better game 1 than Drakehaven because you don't have to play all these bad cards to make Approach good. So, like, I don't think you want the second one of these main deck ever. I don't think this card's even good enough to be in the 75. And, like, these cards were kind of impactful. So, like, if I was going to play this deck going forward, I would start by changing all 4 of these cards. I'd probably do something like turn this into a Sheffitt Dunes, turn this into an island, probably turn this into like a Settle, and this into a Search for Azcanta. And then, like, I'd probably do the sideboard differently as well. I'd probably keep these, and these, and these. And then I'd probably move the 1 Abandoned Sarcophagus here. Actually, I'd probably keep these as well. And then this would be out because there'd be an Abandoned. You'd have like 2 random flex slots. But like, they'd probably have to be like Baffling End or something. But like that, Okay, I didn't mean to take that card out of the sideboard. I don't even remember what it was. What card did I just knock out of my sideboard? Whatever, it doesn't matter. But like, then we still just don't have any good answers to Glint Sleeve Siphoner, no good answers to Beaumont. Like, we're going to have Baffling End, or at the very minimum, some number of Pharma Markets in the deck somewhere. And it doesn't feel like there's enough room once you have cards like this in here. I have no idea what card I just knocked out. Whatever. It's easy to put back. Sorry. I don't know if anything popped up you guys aren't supposed to see. Don't actually care. Oh, it was that thing, I guess. Yeah, but anyway, so that's going to do it for me today. I want to thank you guys for stopping by, and we're going to hop out of here. I'll be back after dinner to do probably an hour, 90 minutes, something of like that of MTG Arena. But I appreciate you guys so much for stopping by, and nice to meet the new ones of you. See ya. Go watch Matthew Folks crush people with blue-black. That's what I would do. I guess I'll just go ahead and host him. I'm pretty sure my thing would auto host him, but just in case it doesn't, I'll host him for the 10 viewers that are here or something.